Hello, my name is Augustus, and as some of you may know, for the last few days I have been doing a blog, and today I would like to talk about a couple things. The first thing I would like to discuss is a game that I've been playing called The Walking Dead. I have played all 5 episodes. I played through the first 4 episodes and wasn't really disappointed with the game up until the last episode. And I noticed that because the game is tailored based off of decisions you make in the game, The Walking Dead, it really sets you up for disappointment. I won't go into details as to what happens. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But my suggestion would be, if you want to find out, play the game yourself, develop your own opinions, and yeah, just have fun and find out. That's the first thing. The second thing I'd like to discuss is um, today I was on my Facebook page and Snag a Job had a post from the Daily Muse of uh, like 10 questions you should never ask in a job interview and 5 questions you should ask in a job interview. Now, out of these 10 questions, 2 questions really stuck out to me, and I was not really happy with how they were worded. Uh, I well, let me just start by reading them. Number 7, would you like to see my references? And the response to this question is, interviewing is a lot like dating, says Barrett Poindexter. It's important to entice with your value and attract them to call you for the next date. Offering up your references too soon, and two is spelled with T-O-O. That's like saying also. Two is not spelled that way, but I'm not going to get into a YouTube argument over that. Too soon may hint at desperation. Plus, you don't want to run the risk of overusing your references. Well, okay, first I'm going to cover 7. When people are asking for references for job interviews, it's not that you're overusing the references. If you ask people to use your references and they give you consent or permission, you're not really overusing them because they've already given you permission to use them in the first place. As for desperation, if you're coming off as being desperate, then why are you even applying for the job in the first place? It just doesn't seem like, if you don't really need the references, why are you asking for them? But references really do help regardless. Everyone has to develop their own opinion on that, and a lot of employers seem to think that, having that mentality is part of society, and that's not the case. That's the first question. The second question is number 10. Will you monitor my social networking profiles? And the response says, while a valid concern in today's culture, this is something best left unsaid. It gives the impression that you have something to hide, says Tolan. Play it safe and don't post anything, especially disparaging things about your company, coworkers, or employers on Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere on the internet, really. And yes, even if you're friends with, you're not friends with anyone at work, these these kinds of things have a way of getting around. I really don't understand why companies feel the need to pry send people to spy and pry into your social media networking profiles with your personal friends and family and try to dictate, and that's what it is, it's a dictation of what you say and what you do and how you live your personal life outside of work. To me, that's very unprofessional, even if it's in their policies, their procedures, their standards. I mean, what are they doing spying on you in the first place? I mean, I'll give you an example. That's like me posting something about my previous employer and say I'm still working there, which I'm not. And they call me into the office the next day and they give me a write-up or they terminate me because I said something that they don't like. Well, if I had said something that they don't like, they shouldn't have been there reading it in the first place. It's my social media network profile for my friends and family. If I wanted to be friends with them in the first place, I would have added them on that social media network site. What a lot of employers don't seem to understand is yes, it may be the internet, and yes, it may not be considered totally private, like a private written journal in a physical sense, but that doesn't give them the right to dictate what people's actions, their words, their thoughts, their feelings, or their emotions. That does not give them the right to do that. Yes, everyone has a right to make revenue. Yes, they have a right to their business, and yes, they have a right to their own opinion. But that does not give them the right to control. I mean, that is something that the Illuminati do. That is something that, and more and more society is coming to a realization that these things are all tied together. It's all just part of the building blocks. But, I mean, there's all sorts of speculation on it. I don't really think that it's right that employers do these type of things or have these kind of procedures or policies. So, I mean, that's all I'm really going to say on that matter. I mean, as far as spying. Now, if you don't like what someone says, don't read it. Don't go to their profile. Don't send people to their profile. If you don't like what they say, don't be friends with them. Don't spy on them. Professional or not, people have a right to say what they want to say, regardless. I mean, employers are people too. Yes, we all have emotions. That's a two-way street. Employers can do the exact same thing if they really wanted to. But most of them don't. Because they think that by doing that they're being on top, which in reality they never will be. So I'm going to leave it at that, and if people want to argue over it, let them. Society has their own speculation on that. And that's all I'm really going to say about that. One other thing, I'm going to let people start commenting, but I'm going to approve it before the comments are actually posted. Same with video responses. I'm going to approve those too. So, I mean, I'm not gonna silence people if they have things they want to say to me or whatever, regardless. I mean, I know I come off as an asshole, and you know what, I am. I really don't care what the rest of the world thinks. I really don't. And if they don't like it, they don't have to say anything. Regardless, that's their choice. The power of choice, the power of will. So, with that, I'm just gonna leave you all to dwell on that and think about what I talked about, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.